The time is 2 minutes past 6. Good evening. I am Jennifer Agogo, and this is the News Express. The headlines: Aviation workers suspend planned nationwide strike. Gunmen invade Anambra toll, kills traffic officer. International Monetary Fund confirms Nigeria have the capacity to repay her loans. National Sugar Development Council lauds BUA Foods for contributing massively to sugar sector. India convicts 49 people over 2008 bomb attack. And Confederation of African Football announces tournament's best 11. Remember, you can always log on to www.ozesaradio.com to listen to the news live in any part of the world. Reports say that the Aviation Industries Association have suspended a nationwide industrial action bill to commence February 8, 2022, following an agreement with the federal government. Senator Chris Ngige, Minister of Labor and Employment, said this while briefing newsmen at the end of a conciliation meeting in the early hours of today in Abuja, where he said the major industrial issues aching the workers have been satisfactorily addressed. Ngige said the two demands of the unions were non-implementation of the minimum wage, consequential adjustments in the aviation parastatals since 2019, and the non-approval of the reviewed conditions of service in the parastatals. He, however, said a memorandum of settlement has been reached between the aviation workers and the Federal Ministry of Aviation after exhaustive deliberations on the issues which the parties agreed to be very important. He added that the meeting afforded all parties to agree that those that exited the system during the period from April 18, 2019 to date will be paid their arrears, and that some categories of workers in the aviation sector should get some peculiar allowances for industrial harmony to reign. Recall that the aviation workers under the aegis of the National Union of Air Transport Employees and Association of Nigeria Aviation Professionals had threatened to withdraw their services by February 8 over poor welfare and unimplemented agreements with the government. Meanwhile, tragedy struck today in Anambra where gunmen attacked and killed a traffic officer on duty. It was gathered that gun-wielding men invaded Ekulobia town in the Agwata local government area of Anambra State this morning and shot sporadically in the open on a mission yet to be known. An eyewitness told reporters that it was not clear if the men were armed robbers, cultists, bandits, or unknown gunmen, and nobody knows their target. The source said an unidentified male official of the Anambra Traffic Management Agency who was controlling traffic at the ever-busy Ekulobia Junction was gunned down with a bullet shattering his head from behind. DSP Tochukwu Ikenga, the State Police Command spokesman, confirmed the incident, saying that the hoodlums shot sporadically in the area to disarm a mobile police officer on patrol. However, the affected area has been thrown into chaos and confusion. Now, reports say that Reverend Father Joseph Shakari of St. Monica's Catholic Church, Ikulupari, who was abducted on Sunday, has regained freedom. The Chancellor of the Catholic Diocese of Kafanchan, Reverend Father Emmanuel Okolo, in a statement today confirmed the development to newsmen, saying he was released Monday night but didn't mention if ransom was paid for his release. Recall that the abductors demanded the sum of 60 million naira as a ransom for his release. Okolo, however, thanked everyone who prayed for the priest's release and directed that all priests of the diocese celebrate Mass of thanksgiving to God for the quick release of Shakari. He prayed that God will repose the soul of Shakari's cook, who was killed during the attack. To other news, the International Monetary Fund has said that the Nigerian economy is recovering from a historic downturn, benefiting from government policy support, rising oil prices, and international financial assistance. As a result of the recent economic developments in the country, the global financial institution believes Nigeria has the capacity to repay its loan when the time comes. This follows the conclusion of the consultations with Nigeria by the Executive Board of IMF on Monday last week, wherein it confirmed that Nigeria's capacity to repay the fund is adequate given the present economic realities in the country. According to the IMF, Nigeria exited the recession in the fourth quarter of 2020 and its output rose by 4.1% in the third quarter of last year, with a broad-based growth except for the oil sector, which is facing security and technical challenges. The global economic body further argued that these good economic fortunes are attributable to the declining inflation rate, new harvest season, opening of land borders, and other favorable economic policies by the federal government. It added that after registering a historic deficit in 2020 but the foreign exchange reserves have improved, supported by the IMF's SDR allocation and Eurobond placements in September 2021. It, however, confirmed that COVID-19 pandemic and unemployment are dragging the nation's growth backwards. To the business scene, the National Sugar Development Council has commended the level of progress made by Lasuco Sugar Company Limited, a subsidiary of BUA Foods plc, in the development of the sugar sector. Its executive secretary, Zach Adedeji, gave the commendation during a visit to Lasuco's 20,000-hectare plantation in Lafiagi, Kwara State. Adedeji thanked BUA Foods for its commitment to the backward integration program and expressed satisfaction with the level of progress made at the integrated sugar factory. He added that Nigeria was a step closer to achieving self-sufficiency in the area of sugar production. He maintained that President Muhammadu Buhari-led government was committed to revamping the sugar industry through the Nigeria Sugar Master Plan, which has the capacity to ensure that Nigeria grows what she eats and eats what she grows, while providing job opportunities for millions of Nigerians. Adedeji also hinted that the council's aim is to locally produce 70% of Nigeria's sugar consumption, which is at 1.7 metric tons per annum for now, but expects Lasuco to play a key role towards achieving this goal of self-sufficiency in 2025. Foreign news. India has convicted 49 people today over a 2008 attack in the western city of Ahmedabad that left dozens dead in what perpetrators said was retaliation for earlier deadly communal violence. It was gathered that the string of bombings killed 56 people and wounded more than 200 others as shrapnel ripped through markets, buses, and other public places in Gujarat State's commercial hub. Regrettably, a group calling itself the Indian Mujahideen claimed responsibility, claiming the act was a revenge for the 2002 religious riots in the area that left thousands of people dead. Prosecutor Amit Patel told reporters outside an Ahmedabad court that nearly 80 people were charged, but 28 were acquitted for lack of evidence. He added that the remaining 49 defendants were all found guilty of murder and criminal conspiracy, with sentencing to be issued on Wednesday. The marathon trial has lasted nearly a decade, with more than 1,100 witnesses called to testify. Recall that Ahmedabad was the center of deadly 2002 religious riots, which saw at least 1,000 people, mostly Muslims, hacked, shot, and burnt to death. The violence was prompted by the death of 59 Hindus in a train fire first blamed on Muslims but later ruled to be accidental. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was then head of the state government and had subsequently been accused of turning a blind eye to the violence which rocked India and left many people dead. And lastly, from the exciting world of sport, the Confederation of African Football has announced the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON Best 11 as it is traditionally done. CAF announced the 2021 AFCON Best 11 today via its Twitter handle following the conclusion of the tournament in Egypt on Sunday night. Sadly, no Nigerian players made the best 11, and the reserve bench, including Moses Simon, who had an outstanding tournament. Cameroon had 4 players in the squad, with the goalkeeper of the tournament, Edouard Mendy, Saliu Sis, Nampalys Mendy, and most valuable player, Sadio Mane, among the best 11. Other players who made the cut were Hakimi Tamsoba, El Neni, Salah, Abubakar, and Abdelmonem. These players were selected having been adjudged to have performed excellently well during the tournament that lasted for 1 month. Recall that the Teranga Lions of Senegal defeated Egypt 4-2 on penalties after a goalless full-time in the AFCON final at the weekend in Yaounde's Olembe Stadium in Cameroon to lift the trophy for the first time. And that ends the news. On behalf of the editor, Chinedu Ezenago, and the production team, I am Jennifer Ogogo. Good evening and thanks for listening.